give it a go here.
We all voted for the single path, the 15-foot wide path, and in addition to that, we were interested in seeing color, either in the tiles that he talked about, or stamped concrete with a different color in it. Low walkway benches. We talked about the single round. We like that single round kiosk area or gathering place. But we would like to see the informational kiosks out to the perimeter. And another thing that we were thinking about would be fun would be to put a map of the island in the center on the ground, kind of.
And you're going to move that a little bit over too.
Oh yeah, and we wanted to move it, as the other table said, towards this intersection. Over. We're looking at Midway, map of the island center. Raised beds, we like the idea of the raised beds with natural vegetation. Rhodies, something like rhodies, or some of the plants that can be staggered in the color, because they, you can get some of them that'll be a certain color, and then they, a little, like a month later, another color comes out. Kind of stagger it that way. We also like the rain garden ideas. We like the traffic separation. We said bollards because we really didn't know what John Paul meant. I've seen sort of what you've talked about, the National Park Service, but anyway, we like that idea. Wayfinding eyesights, map of the concrete, which we talked about, but the idea here was along those ideas of signage, but we have a couple of representatives here from the Chamber of Commerce. We could use these throughout the island, these icons, like one identifying Linwood Center, one at Blodell, one at, each one of the sightseeing centers that we have, Seabold, et cetera, et cetera. Let's see, wayfinding, a viewpoint to the ravine was in the the double path, but we didn't see it in the single path, and we'd like to make sure that that sight line is available to the ravine in some portion of this. We also really liked your rock wall with the benches in it. We really thought that was neat. And moving the sign like the gentleman before me that was up at the corner, actually moving it down to the south, because as the people come off, as you're driving this way, you're going to be able to see it. This is a good sight line for you when you come in that curve there. But also if you're walking this way, or even if you're on that side there, you're going to be able to see that sign. If we put it up here in the corner, it's just like you said, bye. Bye-bye. So, one of the group was adamant that we put this in, allow for the future development of a regional trail, i.e. the bicycle trail that is being...
You want me to say a few words about it?
Yeah, you can do that, Don.
The short of it is that you want a way for families and people with movement limitations to travel. That's what a regional trail really is, like the Burke-Gilman. And in Seattle, as that waterfront is redone, there's going to be a Burke-Gilman-like trail, no intersections, kid-friendly, along the waterfront. So this area is an opportunity to have a shared path like that. But like Andrea described, you want it over next to the sidewalk. You want the right place for people on bikes to be, and the other places for if you have a bike, you're walking over there. So it's in the comp plan that we have the length of the island, and it's just a matter of, at this point, this park doesn't have to do anything now, but to allow the space and it would be 12 feet up next to the sidewalk, to put this in at a future date, which conceivably could be as soon as 2 years. So the hope would be that the design would be compatible with that.
Anything else from your group?
Lighting, we were in favor of the lower lighting for the walkway, but we also wanted to make sure that in the area of the kiosks, that, you know, we make lighting available so that if it's either up above looking down or something, so that you can see the information at night. And then, of course, the footnote was given by our gentleman over here about the signage for the use of your cell phones.
Oh, okay. Once again, we came up with the single path as the most common that we liked. We also did like the idea of viewpoints, and we took the time to actually modify the drawing so that we get a few bump outs so you can see down into the ravine. The wall would have deeper curves on it, and the wall was a big hit. Also with seating into that wall. The barrier, we were a little concerned about the barrier on the road not pushing into the road itself to allow the 18 inches that is there for the one little cycle lane to disappear, and then have the folks become grease under the wheels. Integrated art, it would be nice to see in there. A visual art in the walk, non-intrusive. Somebody mentioned the Blodell benches that were out there in the rock, and they're a good model for that. Vegetation, we like to go with the indigenous plants as much as possible, get a little color. I suppose the ivy is not indigenous down there. And we thought about the various ways of getting fundraiser in there, you know, with pavers and benches and things of that nature. How much art? That's a good question. And whether or not there should be a non-permanent display that rotates through, who knows. And the information shelter, we discussed the possibility of having some sort of a rain shelter or some shelter there also.
Good.
I'll just supplement a little bit. I think our group really did like the single path like everyone else did, because they loved the way that it sort of drew everybody through the site as opposed to detouring too much. They also, but our group also wanted, like many of the others, to have more of a gathering place, or what we called, I think somebody called it a lingering place. I thought that was kind of nice, actually. And then the third thing we wanted was we wanted to have a little bit more of an access to the ravine visually. We felt that the problem with the single path scheme was that that wall actually ends up being a barrier and the berm behind it, so you feel distant from the ravine. So one of our folks drew this, what's interesting about it is it creates all three of those solutions at once. We create a little bit more gathering areas by making these big, serious bump outs. Well, I'll show you on here. By creating much more deeper bump outs that go all the way out to here. You basically create gathering areas here and here, and at the same time you create areas that give you some visual input into the ravine, but you don't break down the notion of a single path having the main goal. So I thought that was a really major theme that came out of our group. And the other major theme, and tell me if I'm wrong, but our group really was urging for simplicity, peacefulness, elegance, you know, a Blodell model rather than Santa Monica Pier model. You know, we didn't want lots of little glitzy things, lots of little kitschy things. This is supposed to be a statement about the island, and simple, elegant, and really well designed, like the way they do things at Blodell. It really struck me once when I was going through Blodell and I saw them actually tearing out a brand new bench and rock facility, and I asked the workman what they were doing. He said, I thought it was fine. That's what I know. He said it didn't meet our standards. It was too crude. It wasn't elegant enough. And I thought, wow, this place is incredible. if we could harness a little bit of that sense of quality, that would really make an incredible statement about the islands.